Top of the middle of the day to you, boys and girls. We're continuing the saga of the Super Micro Mini test drives. We had to change the venue slightly because we ran out of donut available space on the other log to the right, so we're kind of in a little bit different location for the second go around between these two. I took the stops down a little bit on the chain at intermission. I know that the Psy-Ko version ms200T on the end, it's got way more than enough power to pull that chain the way it was. The standard version rear handle ms200 in the foreground was kind of struggling. I guess we're going to see how it does at this point. I'm not sure what else to say. Oh, the bar change is going to be processed because they don't actually make a heel configuration that's suited for these little saws that's in the 24-inch length. I had to do some modifications to the bar to get it to oil and be able to get the chain on it. Consequently, it's a pain in the rear to mount and dismount, if you will. So yeah, you might want to head for the kitchen or something when the bar change situation happens, because it's going to be a minute. We'll check with the tack, try to get him pretty close to the same at idle, try to get him pretty close to the same at high idle, and then we'll probably play around with the T version, maybe run another cut or two with it. I'm not sure, we'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, let us begin this second session here. So we're idling around 3,100, pretty good sound to it at the moment. Let's see what we get at the high end of things. Okay, so we're running a little over 13. Once we clean the crankcase out a little bit, RPMs pick up. And picking up a little bit more. We'll try one more time just for kicks. So we can hear the high idle miss. I think the high speed is backed out all the way to the stop at that point. The saw is pretty much brand new. We're not going to tighten it down anymore. We end up with around the same number, 13220 this time. Let's watch it cut now. Now we took a little bit off the side because this is a lot larger diameter log, and I'm a little leery about a kickback with the one-handed operation. We're at 0. We're about a third of the way down at this point, and you can see it's struggling to pull the chain the way it's set up. And we get to about 10.32 when we adjust the dogs in the side of the log. It picks up a little bit RPMs. It's not quite running in the 10 range. It's about 9.9. When you have, well, I'm letting the weight of the saw try to feed itself essentially. We've seen that it was pretty much struggling hard to pull that much bar. Let us do the dismount process and see what happens with the T version. Okay, so we're within 10 RPM, so we're going to call it good. And we're within about, I don't know, 100. We're going to fuss a little bit. Alright, I fussed around with it all I'm going to. We're off of 100 RPMs, but the Psy-Ko-ized version is a little sensitive to input with the needles because of the state of tune that saw is in. Let us do a little test sawing at this upper RPM limit. So we're running a little bit better in the wood, even though I didn't cut over the top. I'm a little bit worried about a kickback in that situation. Generally, if the bar's running all the way through, you don't have to worry about it. Let's do a little carburation adjustment here. So we picked up 700 or 800 RPMs. Let's try a run now. little bit when we adjust the dogs into the side of the log. I guess if we were to give both of them about 300 RPMs, we can see that this version is cutting a lot higher in the wood than the other version, and it motors right along even though the tip is struggling. And I just thought that was an interesting comparison. We kind of gave the nod to this saw in the last run. I was a little bit afraid of the tip, but we're trying to see just actually how good this saw really does run. We'll try one more. And we can still hear it blubbering at high idle. We picked up a few more RPMs. Okay, so we had some successive runs with this thing running at 11,002 or so, 2 or 3, and then this run here, relatively close to the same. Pulling on it a little bit more with the pistol grip, well, the T-handle technically. Motors right along with the tip not exposed whatsoever, puts the stalker to shame completely. I'm kind of liking the way that saw runs, actually. I think that the new owner is going to be well pleased when he gets that saw. Anyway, we're about 2,800 feet in elevation. I can't remember if I actually mentioned that or not in this particular session. It's about 75 or 80 degrees. We got a little bit of a wind. And I don't know what else is important to note. Other than we're not actually at 500 feet, which would make a huge difference in the way this particular saw ran. Anyway, thanks for watching this session. We had fun playing with the Super Micro Mini saw. I think those 200Ts at the time were the smallest production stills they ever made. I don't know if I mentioned that or not yet. Kind of an interesting little saw, well balanced even with the 24. Not too bad to handle. A little bit, this is pretty good. This is a little rugged. You can see it's in pretty good shape. You can see we're still dealing with the stock muffler screen situation for spark arresting. But anyway, just overall nice little saw. Thanks for watching this session wherever you might be on God's green earth, and hoping he's smiling on you today for sure.